Hello and welcome back to a Football Manager 2018 experiment. This time we're revisiting one of the most popular concepts of experiment that I had on my channel from FM18. It's what if a billionaire invested in a particular country, and this time we're going very ambitious. We're going all the way down to the Welsh Premier Division, the 123rd most reputable league in Europe. Usually we're sort of around the top 30 or so, but this time, blimey, we're going quite far down. So the concept of this then is we've got the in-game editor, we go into every single team in the division and we basically give them £1 billion each. If we go to the in-game editor, we go to edit the club details. If we go across the finances, I've changed everyone's team to professional, so they're not semi-professional, they're professional sides now, full-time. Everyone's got a bank balance of £1 billion, the transfer budget is £1 billion, and the wage budget is the maximum of £5 million. However, because it's going to be so hard, even at this level with £1 billion, to start making their way up the European rankings and getting themselves into Europe, I've changed their facilities as well. So every team has got top training facilities, top youth facilities, top junior coaching, top youth recruitment, and top corporate facilities as well. I don't think that makes much of a difference to the junior coaching and things like that, but they've got them anyway. So the Welsh Premier League then, absolutely dominated by TNS. I think the New Saints they're called. Absolutely dominated in recent years. They've done so well, and they are the best side in Wales. Of course, though, the winner of the Welsh Premier League does get a place in the first qualifying round of the Champions League, which is a huge reward, and it's something TNS have always managed to get, and I don't think they've got any further than the first qualifying round. They may have got to the second qualifying round once or twice, but they've never done that well, so hopefully this £1 billion will start to push them closer and closer to the group stages. I don't think this is particularly an experiment we're going to try and see if someone can win the Champions League or the Europa League. That's not going to happen. What this is going to be about is if a team can actually get to the group stages of a European competition. That's my aim at the moment with this. And hopefully this youth recruitment that we've got going on now, with 20 out of 20 youth facilities and recruitment and things like that, hopefully we can see some fantastic regens come through and really help these teams move forward. However, of course, just because they've got top facilities doesn't mean they're going to get automatic awesome regens. If you've watched my scouting video, you know that facilities, of course, are a big part of it. If they've not got the coaches there to be able to do it as well, then they're not going to get there. And I've not changed the reputation of these teams at all. They're still very small reputation sides, so they're not going to be able to attract those coaches or the big players either. I know they've got £1 billion, but Cristiano Ronaldo is not going to move to Cardiff Met University football team for the £1 billion. Although saying that, if I was Ronaldo and I was offered £1 billion, I'd go to Cardiff Met University. Right then, so what I'm going to do is go on holiday for a season. We're going to do 3 seasons in this first episode, and we're going to see exactly what happens over 3 seasons. We'll look at some wonder kids, see if they come through, and we're just going to see how quickly we can move up this table and break into the top 100 and things like that. So join me in just a moment when I go on holiday for a year, and we'll come back with the season's results. So we're back now, and actually I've got all 3 years in the future now, so we can see exactly what's happened over the past 3 years. And as you can see, right from this first thing here, competition and reputation, we've moved up roughly 20 or so spaces now up to the 102nd most reputable league in Europe. However, that doesn't take into account this season, because this season technically hasn't finished yet as all these stats are still here. So once it crosses over into next season, we'll probably go up again a little bit more. But we want to see some more stats and things like that. So we're going to keep it like this for now, and we'll see next episode exactly where we finish up. So as you can see from this little bit of screen here, we can see that obviously we've jumped up there, and we can see that TNS have been knocked off the top. In the first season, Barla won the league, and then Cardiff Met University have won the league twice in a row, which is absolutely crazy considering it's meant to be a university side. Obviously, things have changed a little bit now that we've given them professional status and £1 billion. That's all changed. But they've managed to win the league twice, which is fantastic for them. The first thing to do then, I suppose, is look at the leagues the past few seasons. Now, if you don't really understand how it works right now, essentially, each team plays each other twice. That's 22 games, and then the league splits in half. And then the remaining teams play each other twice, I think, in playoffs essentially. So the top half play for championships and the bottom half play for relegation or trying to stay away from relegation essentially. That's what they play for. So you can see in this first season then Barla beat TNS to the title by a singular point, which obviously not very good for them. Which obviously is huge for Barla. I think that's their first ever title. If you look on this now, look at the history. Only won 1 Welsh Premier League title, and that was that season. So that's fantastic for Barla. Cardiff Met University finishing 9th, but have next season somehow bounced and won the league absolutely phenomenally, winning it by a huge amount there. A whole 23 points. That's ridiculous from Bangor City, who gets second from a point over TNS. Barla, despite winning the league the season before, couldn't maintain it and retain the title, finishing down in 5th. So that's pretty poor for them, really, all things considered. And then the season we've just had, Cardiff Met win again on 96 points. Every single game won. They've not lost or drawn anything. 94 goals scored, 10 goals against. That is absolute domination from Cardiff Met University there. TNS finishing 2nd and Bangor City finishing 3rd. Essentially, I think what happens is the champions go and they get the Champions League place, and then 2nd and 3rd seem to get Europa League, and then it's whoever wins the cup. Well, whoever wins the cup gets a place as well. So I think Cardiff Met University won the cup this season actually. So that means that the cup place will go to second place, third will get a place as well, and then they have playoffs for the remaining place. So that's, I guess, what Newtown won. I guess they won the playoffs there to secure a Europa League place. So we've seen the tables then. Let's have a little look at the transfers, essentially. We're going to go back to this first season. Obviously, all these teams have been given £1 billion. What kind of money are they spending? As you can see, a grand total of 8.75k is the biggest signing made. Alex Jones from Ryle to Llandudno. What a huge signing. Aaron Davis and Peterborough to Bangor for £5,000. That's quite a big signing, to be fair, for Bangor, spending the money there. They spent lots of money. They spent another 1.6k and they play from Barlow as well. The next season, they want to establish themselves a little bit more. We see a lot more players coming in from other places. And Cardiff Met University spending big, 1.6 million on Stephen Fletcher from Sheffield Wednesday. That's a huge signing, to be fair. Buying players from Newport County, Rotherham, Bradford, Leyton Orient. Not names that I particularly recognise if I'm just looking down the list, but they're spending a lot of money. Cardiff Met University have gone a bit mental here. They really like the Manchester City of Welsh football right now, I think, if we look down. Obviously, it's all free transfers now, but 1.6 million spent on a player. The next biggest transfer is £77,000. That is crazy. And then the season we've just had, even more money being spent. Look at how much Cardiff Met University is spending. This is, and look who they're bringing in. This is ridiculous of the kind of players they're bringing in. Patrick Van Arnholt for £5 million. Joel Pereira from Man United for £5 million. Florian Gardos from Southampton for 2.6, rising to 3.3. Cuco Martina, Mustafa Carriol. They're bringing in some quality players. I mean, Mustafa Carriol is a championship quality player. This is Cardiff Met University. How in earth are they doing this? Let's have a look at this. I mean, how much money have they spent? Their captain is Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney is now playing for Cardiff Met University. I don't know if that is ridiculous. That's just happened. Something must be going on here. Let's have a look at their finances right now. Finances. They're doing very, very well financially, and it's because they've got a front end sugar daddy. The chairman has suddenly become a sugar daddy and is pumping ridiculous amounts of money into the club. That's how they're doing it. That is crazy. Their training and youth facilities have gone down slightly, actually, which is a little bit concerning. But if they're bringing in players like that, I don't know. They must be doing quite well in Europe because of it as well, if we've been honest. They must be doing well. So the transfers, we'll have a look at youth intake, because that's another thing that we want to be looking at here as well. So if we go to youth intake, scroll back to this first season. I don't think there's a way to see like who is the best regen out there. I don't think we can click on it and there's like a list saying who is the best, who's the worst. But if we look at some of these players here, I don't know, Joel Federico, he looks fairly decent, to be fair, considering he's a regen. He's got some good stats on him, seems to progress fairly well. Not the TNS first choice goalkeeper though, so I don't know. We'll click on a few more random players here, like Ross Wilson at Barla. He's still at Barla, but doesn't look to have progressed too much and has played a fair bit of games to be fair. He's doing alright for himself. If we scroll down here as well, I don't know, Craig Roberts from Newtown. Again, not the best. We're not seeing huge regens coming through. We'll look at like the best youth talents in the past few seasons, like who's won the youth, the top youth awards and things like that. But it'll be interesting to see. So if we look at awards, actually, award winners, right, and we scroll down to Young Player of the Year. So Liam Cullen won it last season, but he's a real life player. So is Aaron Lewis, and so is Tom Holland. So that doesn't really tell us that much there. Is there like a Young Player of the Month or a Player of the Month, for example? There's a few here from this past season. Stephen Palmer won it recently. He seems to be quite good. He's pretty well rounded for a regen as a 16-year-old player as well, to be fair. Only played 4 games at Aberystwyth, but he looks like he's got a decent future ahead of him. I can't believe they've signed that many players. And they've done that well to sign those players. I'm very interested to see what's going on with Champions League now. So what we are going to do is go to the Champions League. We'll do some little spoilers and see who's won it the past few seasons as well. Juventus have won it recently. That's interesting to see. Juventus, Man United, Real Madrid have won it in the past few seasons. In fact, it's probably still to go. It's Monaco versus Man United this year, but that's not happened yet. We go to the first qualifying phase and we go back to the first year we did it. So TNS were there and they actually managed to beat Trepka from Kosovo, I think it must be. Yeah, Kosovo they've beaten that team from. So they won 4-2 overall. So they went into the second bit there. There's so many little sub-menus now we have to go through to find this because it's so low down. And Wales, TNS lost to Rijeka, unfortunately. I think that's probably going to be the end. I think it's probably easier to just look at this actually and see how they've done the past few seasons. If we go back to that first season, then obviously they lost to Rijeka. There was no more football there for them. Season afterwards, they got through to the Euro Cup second qualifying round, but lost to Slovian Bratislava after beating another team in the first qualifying round. And the season they've just had, they lost in the first qualifying round. So that's not too good for them. If we go back to the league and we look at Barla now, because Barla did pretty well, didn't they? First season, they found themselves in the Europa League in the first qualifying round, but lost to Mladost, unfortunately, over 2 legs, 3-2 in aggregate. Season afterwards, after they won the league, they were knocked out in the Champions League first qualifying round, or whatever it is meant to be called. There's so many different names for it. And they got knocked out there by Sheriff, and were knocked out in the Euro Cup second qualifying round by Olympica. And the season we just had, knocked out in the Euro Cup first qualifying round. So not too much progress there, unfortunately. We're not getting through many of these rounds, which is a bit annoying. Bangor City have also been up there a little bit in recent years. They beat Crusaders on penalties in the end in the Euro Cup first qualifying round this first season, the 17-18 season, but lost to Aberdeen in the second leg 5-0, unfortunately for them. It was a tough draw for them. Year after, the exact same thing. They beat St Julia from, that must be from Andorra. I used to Football Manager 2012, I did a career mode in Andorra, and St Julia were a team there, but we managed to thrash them. Obviously Bangor did really well there, and then unfortunately came very close to qualifying, but lost to Lavidia in the second qualifying round. In fact, that's a lie. I'm telling you a lie there. That was the first qualifying round. The first one was a preliminary round, so it just shows how many rounds there are to qualify for these Europa League places, and it shows how far Welsh football's got to come. You know, we've only scratched the surface. I know we've signed Wayne Rooney for Cardiff Met University somehow, but there's still a long way to go. And then the season that's just gone, Bangor City knocked out in the first qualifying round there by Videoton. So not the best for them as well. Still not seeing too much from these Welsh sides. But we'll have a look at Cardiff Met University now. I think that they will probably be the team to beat right now. I don't think anyone else has really qualified that much. We've looked at TNS, we've looked at Bangor City, we've looked at Barla. Let's have a look at Cardiff Met University. Now, the first season, they weren't in any European competitions. Second season, again, not in any competition, but did manage to play Bayer Leverkusen in a friendly, which is pretty cool for them. And then the season we've just had, they have done extraordinarily well. Knocked out in the Champions League first qualifying round, which is unfortunate for them. But, you know, they got put into the Europa Cup second qualifying round, beating Europa FC. They went into the second round, played Irish team Dundalk, beat them 5-0 in aggregate, before coming up against Rosenborg in the Euro Cup fourth qualifying round, first leg, which I think is the one before the group stages, actually. And they only lost 3-1 in aggregate, which is so close. Yeah, the fourth qualifying round was the last round. The round after that is the group stages. So Cardiff Met University ridiculously close to getting to the group stages. That's the best we've seen. I'm so impressed with how they've done that. But when they've spent ridiculous amounts of money and they've got Wayne Rooney playing for them, no wonder they are doing so well. And hopefully, next episode, we're going to see some great little future bits from them. I think the best chance we've got of seeing some good regen is by looking at like top goal scorers and things like that. Neil Bentham is the top goal scorer, an 18-year-old player for TNS, and looks very, very nice, actually, to be fair, looking at these stats. They look very, very promising as an 18-year-old as well. Bagged 20 goals in 31 games this season for TNS, so that's a great performance from him. Any other good performances there? John Jones, what a great name that is, playing for Barla. Again, got some great finishing. That finishing of 16 is ridiculously good. That's really impressive. Natural fitness of 17, really, really impressive again. 17 goals in 31 games. A great, great player there. He may move on to do some better things in the future as well. I want to look at highest average match rating as well. Highest average ratings all go to Cardiff Met players. Van Arnholt, Florian Gardos and Cuco Martina making up the top three there. But Neil Bentham's there again. He's a player we're going to have to look out for in future. Reece Rutherford there, 12th highest average player this season for TNS. Central midfielder, looks quite nice to be fair. Technicals not that great, but mentals and physicals looking very, very nice for a 19-year-old player there. 30 games, 7 goals, 5 assists. That's a pretty good season for him, to be fair, and did very, very similar in the season before. After coming from Cardiff Met University, so Cardiff could have got rid of a great player there because they're trying to focus on the money. If they get rid of their youth and their youth players are doing bits like this for TNS, Cardiff Met could be overtaken one day by them. Well, that is it for today's episode, and what an episode it has been. I cannot believe that Wayne Rooney is playing in the Welsh Premier League. That is absolutely insane. If you've enjoyed today's episode, then make sure you do drop a like on the video. If you want to see more stuff like this, subscribe to the channel for plenty more experiments and another episode of this, because I can't wait to do more of this. And I'll see you next time.